Hi, I'm Nancy Stowe, food editor of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Welcome to Counterpoints. Today we're going to talk about making that traditional Thanksgiving favorite pumpkin pie using a fresh pumpkin. So most of us, I know, just take the can of pumpkin and whip up the recipe on the label and make our pie that way, but there is some advantage to using a fresh pumpkin, and you tried that recently. John, you want to tell us about your experiment?
Yes, we made fresh pumpkin puree, and then we baked a pie with the canned pumpkins. We baked the pie with the fresh pumpkin puree, did a blind taste test, and by far the fresh pumpkin pie was the winner.
And why do you think that was? What did people say?
Well, first of all, I think that the pumpkins you buy in the can are a little bit different variety, and they have a little bit stronger pumpkin flavor, if you will. And they also, what they do when they can that is they cook that down so it gets a strong flavor. It also takes on a little bit of bitterness. The pie pumpkins that we use are sweet. They're very young pumpkins. So they don't have a real strong flavor. It's a little bit mellower. And people just seem to like that a little bit better.
Okay. And how do you prepare the pumpkins and to make the puree?
Okay. Well, we split the pumpkin in half. We scoop the seeds out. And we're going to just turn it upside down. I'm going to do the other one here. So you just want to get all those seeds and get that membrane out of the center here.
Is one pumpkin this size enough to make a pie?
No.
How many do you need?
That's the little disadvantage there. I found that one of these pumpkins will give you, when all is said and done after you've roasted it and pureed it and drained it and everything, about 1 cup. So most pumpkin pies, you need 2 cups. So you'll need 2 of these pumpkins in order to make 1 pie. Okay. So we are putting them on our tray, and it's very simple how to do this now. All we're going to do is to just pierce the pumpkin with a fork, and that just helps to let the steam out a little bit as they're baking.
And you roast them in the oven?
Dry roast them in the oven. This is all you have to do. At about 350 degrees, maybe about 45 minutes. Check it with a fork. When you pierce it with a fork, it should come out nice and easy. Okay. So here we have our roasted pumpkins.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is turn them over and just scoop the flesh out. And you'll see that it comes out really easily here.
So you can go up to the skin as close as you can get.
Right. With these young ones, you'll find that the skins are very thin, and just scoop all of that nice flesh out. Okay, so we put it in the food processor here. We're going to put the lid on top and just process this for a few minutes. I'm going to scrape this down a little bit here. It's going to be a little stringy, so you want to try to break down those fibers as much as possible. So you might have to leave it in there a minute or so just to get it nice and smooth.
Now you said you make your pie using this puree with following the same recipe that you would for canned pumpkin?
Yes. As I mentioned, though, you'll need
to drain it first. Okay.
It's a good idea to drain it. You're going to see that there's some moisture that comes out of these. So get a mesh strainer like this, fine mesh strainer, and scoop the pumpkin into the strainer. And really all you have to do is just let it sit. The water will drain out, the moisture will drain out on its own.
Do you need to stir it once in a while?
You can. If you think it's real watery, there's another technique you can use too, which is to just spread it on like a cookie sheet pan and just put it in the oven and just dry it out a little bit that way.
For the liquid to evaporate?
Right. Okay. But this is perfectly acceptable. In fact, I think it's easier than putting it in the oven.
And how long does that take? How long do you let it drain?
I would let it sit about a couple hours, 2 hours or so.
Okay, good. And we'll have John's pumpkin pie recipe at the website. You can find it at JSOnline.